Hello, I'm Matt Morginski. You may remember me as Mojo, the lead singer of the most popular Christian ska band ever, the OC Supertones. After the end of the band, I was faced with a choice. Pathetically look back at what was, or look forward to the future. It was then that I started MojoCo, a somewhat shady LLC which grew into a faceless megacorp with holdings in over 36 dictatorships. But I'm one of the lucky ones. Other lead singers of Christian ska bands have struggled, marking time and dead-end jobs until their next 10-day reunion tour, picking up spam calls in the hopes that it's a ska fandom podcast calling for an interview, or in some truly tragic instances, starting a podcast where they talk endlessly about things that happened 30 years ago that no one cared about even then. It doesn't have to be this way. For the price of a cup of coffee a day, you can help write a happy ending to these sad stories. Instead of starting idiotic podcasts, former singers of Christian ska bands can be retrained to be contributing members of society, painting dumpsters, bedazzling jeans, and even walking people's cats. I don't know about you, but I don't want to live in a world where the guy from Buck shares whatever he's been thinking about that week. It's too late for some, but if you give today, we can prevent another tragedy like Boot and Pickle Shop from happening to anyone else. Will you give?
Joey Reese, Pickle Boot Shop. Get yourself a pickle. Get yourself a boot. Joey Reese, Pickle Boot Shop. Pickle time is happening. Pickle time. I go down to get some pickles.
Bring your grandma and your kids.
I go downtown.
Bring your grandma and your kids.
Boot time. Pickle and boot time. Don't be fickle, get your pickle cider, pop a nickel in your boots. Not a place of ill repute. Bring your grandma and your kids. Come for the pickles, stay for the squids.
Pickle and boot shop.
Stay for the squids.
Yeah, pickle time.
Put that pickle in your pants. Get some booze inside your hands. Put that pickle in your pants. Get some booze inside your hands.
1996, we start this.
I'm eating beans
I'm wearing a Buc-ee's hoodie.
to show that you went out of state.
I did.
So proud of you.
Thank you.
We don't have an agenda.
That's all right. I figure we could flow enough with all the stuff that's happened over the last few days.
I'm ready.
Yeah. So,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pickle Boot Shop. I'm your host, Cornelius, and this is our friend Tweedle.
Here at the Pickle Boot Shop, you could get a pickle and you could get a boot. You could get a large pickle in a small size boot, or you could get a little pickle and a very large boot.
That's what I have.
a large pickle. That's what I hear.
No, I have a very small pickle.
That's what we've seen. So how's your how's the past week gone? Weekend?
Well, to many people's chagrin, I did not go to Furnace Fest to visit with you guys.
Yeah, you didn't.
Well, I said it, and then I was like, man, it's going to be impossible to get a hotel there. And then I realized it's Harold Porter weekend here in the big city of Staunton, Virginia. And my children are obsessed with Harold Porter and his weekend.
So what did that entail?
They close off the downtown and they decorate it like
I already hate it.
what house
So go
you're
on.
in. Hugglepuff, Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, and you go. And you pay a lot more than you normally would for a bratwurst. And you can use a porta potty. That's exciting.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they do fire dances, and then there's owls. And you
And-
dress up. My kids dressed up as Harold Porter people. And then my special
Did you?
lady friend dressed up as a buxom lass, which she is.
Oh.
And I dressed up
Wowzers.
as Commander William Riker, first officer of the USS Enterprise, the next generation.
Oh, so you went to Harold Porter Fest as a Star Trek commander.
Yes.
Wow, your kids had to have loved that.
They were so proud, especially the teenager who is trying not to be embarrassed about anything, because it really magnified that.
Did you wear those glasses?
I should have next year, but
Yeah.
then they'll think I'm Professor Trelawney, and I don't want to give them any. I don't want to mix worlds. Like, it was all Star Trek for me.
Was there anything Star Trek at this festival, or it was all
Harry Potter. There was not a single Star Trek thing except for me.
except you?
No, but there. I mean, here's where the world's the Venn
The rubber
diagram
meets
of
the
this.
road.
So many nerds, like they all were like, "Oh yeah, that's awesome, Star Trek." Like, nobody was like, "What the? Let's beat that guy up." Nobody. They were just like, "This is
Because
so
they couldn't.
awesome."
They're Harry Potter people.
That's also true.
I don't consider like Harry Potter people like people who are into like UFC or fighting.
Yeah. Even in Quidditch, they were not. No, they were very polite to each other when they were playing Quidditch, and kind. And then there was one giant kid, and he kept scoring all the goals.
Like, they played an actual game of that.
They played like a tournament. Like, there was like 10 games.
How did they fly? Like, how does that work?
Well, they don't fly. That's the part, and nobody is
So
magic.
it's not Quidditch.
Yeah, it's like soccer with 3 goals and you're walking around with brooms.
Yeah,
Apparently, you can do it though. There's like leagues. You can get into a Quidditch league.
But here's the thing: is it Quidditch, or is it some? You know what I mean? I mean, this is the cynical side of me coming out. If in Star Wars,
It's not magic.
if in Star Wars they have pod racing,
Mm-hmm.
and then you announce, "Hey, we're doing pod racing."
Yeah.
Every other weekend at this racetrack, we're going to do pod racing, Star Wars pod racing.
Mm-hmm.
And the pod racing is you're on a bicycle, then it ain't pod racing.
Right.
And if you like dress your bicycle up and you use cardboard and masking tape and you make it look like a pod, you're still on a bicycle.
I agree. I think they should try and get magic first. That should be the first step in playing Quidditch. Is be magic. And I yelled at it. I was like, be more magic. They didn't listen.
Yeah. So that's what I would think. So I'm not real happy that there's a Quidditch league or tournaments because they're not playing Quidditch.
Yeah, I'm not happy either. And that's why I dressed as Star Trek, because I was like, I'm not even going to lend my world famous golden voice or presence to this in the form of Harry Potter. I'm going to do Commander William Riker.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you did the right thing. And I don't know who William Riker is. Is that
Jiminy Joe?
is that the old guy?
No, that is Captain Jean-Luc Picard, his first officer, Commander Riker, played by Jonathan Frakes.
So that's not Captain Kirk.
No, man. No.
Different guy.
It's like 30 years later.
Oh, yeah. What am I thinking?
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
There is some overlap, though, because Spock is really old. And there was one episode where they got DeForest Kelley to reprise his role as Dr. McCoy, and he was really old, but then he passed. So that was
On the show.
Not on the show.
In the middle of the show.
On the ride home. Yeah.
Unbelievable. This weekend, I was at a little festival they like to call By the Furnace Festival. Daniel Rock was there. documented some of the weekend, and in our conversations, he's stated to me that the editing of this podcast, especially on your end, is the equivalent of climbing Mount Everest every week because of all the stuff he has to edit out and watching you shove stuff into your mouth.
I know. I used to do it. I just put on a plug-in that cut out most of the chewing.
Yeah. And so he alluded to that it's quite a feat. And I'm just sitting here now after talking to Daniel, watching you eat, and you got your fork dinging against the plate. You got lip smacking. You got all sorts of stuff that he's
beans, Joe. I am main beans.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to give him your cut from Patreon, your full cut starting today for what he has to do over there. I'm going to take a swig of water though, and I'm not giving him any more of my money.
I'm eating beans. Joe, part that is more exciting about this.
Was that like ASMR? ASMR?
How was the Furnace Festival?
Furnace Festival was fantastic. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. We are recording on Monday, September 25th, my daughter Mia's birthday. Also, Nate Sjogren's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday to both of them.
Yeah. And just got back this morning. So our flight flew in. I just flew in, and boy, are my arms tired. So yeah, it was awesome. Like if we, for the listeners, for a little content, if we just kind of want to go through everything, we got down there, Nate, John, our bass player, and a friend of Nate, like our guy that was helping out with merch, his name was Bert. So Nate Miller and Bert. Yep. They all drove down, and then Heidi and I flew down. First class, mind you. The reason I put that out there, people, is not to brag. It's because I've never flown first class. And so we had tons of miles on our Delta cards. And so we redeemed them.
Yeah.
And it was a good time driving down or flying down first class. I'm absolutely terrified to fly. So prior to Heidi and I hit the airport bar, I did 2 Tito's and diets.
2.
And then getting on the plane, I took a Xanax. So I had a Xanax that I was able to take. And then on the plane, first class gets free drinks.
Yes, I think I told you this.
Yeah, and I didn't know if I believed you. So I got a couple more drinks, which made me nice for the flight. So
you had benzodiazepines and how many drinks, Joe?
4 or 5.
What was the dose of Xanax?
Total.
What was the alprazolam dosage?
I don't know. Just whatever a normal what you would be prescribed.
Did you feel numb below your waist?
No.
Okay.
No, it wasn't that. It didn't hit that hard. So we get into Birmingham. Everything was great. We get to Birmingham. We Uber to the hotel. The hotel was like super close to Sloss Furnace Factory, where this festival was taking place. And so, it was awesome. So we got there. Nate and all of them had arrived already. They drove down and they got there about an hour before us. Got there, counted in merch, did all of that. And and then so that was Friday morning, or that was Thursday night. Friday, we spent the whole day at the festival. And here's what I have to say. Here is what I'm going to lead with, all right, and talk a little bit about. I am not a fan of metal and hardcore.
Okay.
I'm a punk ska guy. I enjoy country. I enjoy all sorts of styles of music. I like some metal. I'm very selective of the hardcore that I listen to.
Uh-huh.
It's really it's very, very, very limited. I just can't listen to everything. So with this festival being a hardcore and metal festival, and like, I don't know all the subgenres of it, like grindcore and deathcore metal, all that stuff.
Core.
Yeah.
Parkour.
So with that being said, there weren't a whole lot of bands that I was like stoked to see, or was like walking by and like heard and was like, oh, now these guys are awesome.
Oh, wait, wasn't Earth Crisis there? And you loved them?
No, they were there last year.
Oh, yeah.
They were there
you told me to
when
go
you
watch
guys
them,
were
and I didn't.
Right. This year there was but there were some bands there this year that didn't kind of fit in those categories that I really wanted to see. So they had a bunch of original, like the OG East Coast hardcore. So they had Youth of Today, they had Gorilla Biscuits.
Oh wow.
Gorilla Biscuits asked Bram to play trumpet with them.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, no, I'm not kidding. So
That's so cool.
Yeah, so Bram got to play trumpet with Gorilla Biscuits. He's forever an honorary member of GB. So that was really, really cool. That was Saturday night that happened. Friday was like great all day. Friday were like a bunch of old school bands. So it was like Project 86 was there, MXPX, Reliant K, Amber Lynn, like all those bands. And here's what I figured out. Was never really close with any of those guys back in the day, and still not close with any of those guys today. Like I would go up, I was like, hey, what's up? And I was like, hey, and now mind you, I would, whenever I introduce myself, I'm like, hey, I'm Joe from the Insiders, right?
Yeah.
No clue. You could have said I'm Barney from the Flu Flabby 6. And I would have got the same reaction. So I realized that like all these bands from back in the day, that it's like, oh, these guys are going to be playing. I'll go up. I'll say, what's up? I'll say, hey, nothing.
Oh, my gosh.
There was no conversations to be had. Zero conversations to be had.
Yeah.
It's exactly like this podcast where I talk and then everybody else isn't paying attention.
But Joe, remember when your children needed assistance? That's what's happening. I gave them too much beans.
Mm-hmm.
If there's such a thing, they're like, you gave me too much beans, and they don't want to eat it.
Yeah. So these conversations that I was having this weekend are exactly similar to what's going on here. So I would be like, hey, what's up, Joe from the Insiders? And their attention was anywhere else that it could possibly be. Yeah, I'm like, I have kids, and you're like, can we podcast right now? Why aren't you responding to my text? I'm putting them in bed, and I'm like, I'm Joe, and then you're like, please, right now, pay attention to me. No, that's what threw me for a loop. I said, are we good tonight for 8:30? And you said, yeah. Can we go earlier, 5 to 7? So I'm like, okay, his kid's probably at soccer practice or something. So then I said, yeah, let's go 6 to 7. You're like, perfect. So I jumped. I'm like sitting there like 5 to 6, and then it's 6, and I'm like, wait, and then I'm like, hey man, are you ready? And you're like, yeah, I'm feeding my kids. I'm like, well, then what did you say from 5 to 7 was perfect for? She ate the beans. Okay, good. Rinse it out in the sink. Throw out in the trash. There you go. Yeah. So how was your set? Our set Oh,
You
what's
tell
that?
me. So you go on. I cut you off. You were talking to them and they didn't recognize you.
Yeah, it was like it was just uncomfortable.
Huh.
So anybody out there like listening to this podcast, the most uncomfortable, like, so the way I'm gonna that something that we're all familiar with, right? I'll do it with something that we're all familiar with. You see somebody that you went to high school with
Mhm.
in the grocery store, and your first reaction is you don't want to talk to that person, right? And then sometimes you're like, you make
You do
eye
that
contact. Yeah. And you make eye
Okay.
contact. You're like, oh no, now I have to say something. So there, I didn't want to be the guy who was like the guy who didn't say anything. So I went out of my comfort zone to not make it awkward and be like, hey man, what's up? It's good to see you. But it was awkward. It ended up being awkward. Nobody gave 2 squirts of piss artist wise. I haven't gotten to fans yet. Okay. I haven't
Okay.
gotten to fans yet. Artist wise, zero interaction. Nobody gave a crap. Like no other artists were like,
What?
oh, dude, you guys are back too. That's awesome.
What about
So
the
then-
other bands that weren't Christian bands with us?
Well, those guys like didn't that's like death metal bands, so they didn't. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I didn't know them; they didn't know me. So then that evening, we went and Heidi and I stayed at the main stage, and so like it was Reliant K or it was Project 86 played, Reliant K, Amberlin, MXPX, nothing. So I was like staying backstage, like hanging out and stuff like that. I got like some double takes, like people looking at me, but no one like, hey man, hey, aren't you Joe from the, because by this time I'd like struck out so much. I'm like, I'm not talking to anybody else. I was like, this is too gut wrenching. Like this hurts. This is like it's like a bad day of like high school, like a high school reunion.
yeah.
And so then like the guys from Amberlin, walk by, the guys from Reliant K walk by. And then finally, like, so I had a couple of drinks, like I had a couple of beers, and I was like, you know what? I would be remiss if I didn't say something to the guys in MXPX,
Yeah.
So I see Tom stand there. I go up. I'm like, Tom, I'm Joe from the Insiders. He looks up. He goes, hey. And I go, hey, Reese Roper and I do a podcast. Would you ever be on it? And he goes, Reese who?
Yeah.
And I go, Reese Roper from 5 Iron. And he goes, oh. And then he goes, what's the podcast? And I go, oh, it's called the Pickle and Boot Shop. And I go, it's just fun. If you ever want to be on it, because I figured by dropping your name, he would be like, oh yeah, Reese is my buddy, blah, blah, blah. So, and he goes, yeah, whatever, have him call me. So I was just like, that's it. I'm not talking to anybody in any other bands, that supposedly I knew or had talked to in the past. So I was like, forget it. I'm done.
I'm sorry, Joe.
So that's okay. And so it was just like that. So it was like the whole weekend, like going and seeing high school people that you went to high school with, like at the mall or the grocery store. And it was just this uncomfortable kind of like looking at each other or like weird small talk and stuff like that. So then Saturday, we weren't really there all day. We did a big Buc-ee's trip. Heidi and I went to Buc-ee's, the world's largest gas stations that are amazing. So we went to Buc-ee's, saw Youth of Today and Gorilla Biscuits on Saturday night. And then Sunday was the day that we played. And so Sunday we got a merch booth. We were able to like chit chat with a bunch of people. I'll get to that in a minute. Then we played. I thought, God's honest truth, I thought we would be playing there were 4,500 people at the festival. 4,500
Okay.
people paid for the festival. I, honest to God, thought we would be playing for 25 people. So I thought at our stage, we would have 25 to 30 people. Well, it ended up, we had like a great crowd. I'd have to say, if I had to eyeball it, I'd probably say we had 300, 400 people
Oh, that's rad.
at the stage. Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. And
Where
so,
was your stage at?
like over by
There's that pond? Did they do that
Yes.
this year? That's where we were last year.
Yep. They called it the Monster Energy stage.
Okay.
Was the name of it this year. But yeah, by that pond was where we were.
Okay.
And so, yeah, there was like 300-400 people there. And like people who, like there was a kid who wore like a lucha libre mask, like for all these hardcore bands. So like all these hardcore bands that were going nuts like this whole weekend, this kid is probably in every video, like stage diving, all this stuff in this gold, Mexican wrestling mask.
That is rad.
He shows up at our show, and then there's like and so I was like, well, that's awesome. Like this kid has been like every big band there, and other bands were playing like during our set, but like this kid came over to our set. And then there's another kid who runs a YouTube channel, and he's the Bacon Mosher.
What do you
And
mean
he's
the
just-
bacon musher?
He dresses as he's in a bacon costume, and he
of
just
course.
moshes in the pit and tears people up. Yeah, like destroys people. He came to our set, so like he
Awesome.
was at our set. So it was so cool. And now here's the one thing when I talk about the old high school reunion things that are kind of funny.
Yeah.
Ryan Clark from Demon Hunter,
Uh-huh.
he was watching the band before us.
Okay.
That played before us. And so then I like go to the guys. I'm like, dude, Ryan from Demon Hunters up on stage, man. I think he's going to watch our show. I was like, I'm going to be so stoked if I look over and he's watching us play. And as soon as we went up on stage, he walked off and left.
Come on.
Dead serious. And then he came back because after us was Goaty Hook.
Yeah.
He came back and then watched Goaty Hook. So he,
Are you
on
sure he didn't
purpose-
just go out in the crowd to watch you or somewhere else?
Am I
No.
positive? No. But where he was standing, he then left the area and then came back and went right back for Goaty Hook to where he was standing.
Joe.
But yeah, so anyway, but the set was fun. It was hot. It was a hot day. But I think our sound sounded good. Everything was really good. And then the merch table after we did well, like chit chat with people. And that's where I do have to say the fans. So the band end of it was a nightmare. Like nobody, like I said, nobody like remembered, nobody, at least me. I can't speak for all the insiders. I know Nate was saying that he was talking to all these people. So Nate maybe had a different experience than I did.
Yeah.
For me, it was the fans. Pickle and Boot Shop, Patreons, listeners, everyone was coming up. Kevin, Daniel Rock,
Kevin Brennan. I thought you just
Kevin
meant
Brennan.
Kevin.
Kevin Brennan. And then he was with this guy, Pete. I forget Pete's last name. But it was Kevin and Pete and Daniel Rock and this kid Caleb. There were a bunch of them. I'm trying to think if I know I'm forgetting people, but all these people were there, man, and it was so cool. And like sitting at the merch booth, like everyone was just coming up and like hanging out. It wasn't like, remember back in the day when like we were all touring like full time, and it was like if people came up to the merch booth, you couldn't really chit chat with them because like you had to get your shirt and go. Well, it was cool because everybody literally would like hang out for like 15, 20 minutes, just hang out and talk. And it was so cool. So that was amazing. That was a really fun end of it. Getting pictures taken with people, like, here we are 20 years later, and people are like, hey, can I get a picture with you? And Pete had a picture of him and I from like 1998. And so we recreated that photo, like the same pose, like 25 years later.
That's
So that was,
awesome.
that was a lot of fun. Playing was a lot of fun. And then last
That's
night,
cool.
to top it all off, is Bouncing Souls played. So
Yeah.
because I had the days that I had dealing with band members, and here's the thing, people. I own it 1,000% that it was probably just weird because of me. I'm guessing all these people are probably great people, but for whatever reason, I come off as, I don't know, intimidating, as weird as I don't know what. So I had such bad luck talking to artists that I stopped talking to artists. And I came to the festival telling myself, I'm going to do whatever it took to meet the Bouncing Souls, one of my favorite bands of all time. All I wanted to do was go up, shake their hand, introduce myself, and just say, thanks for making great music. I had multiple opportunities to do it where they were within feet of me, and I could not do it.
You froze up?
Yes. It was a half froze up. And the reason it was a freeze up was because the way the rest of the weekend went. Like, I'm like, why is this going to be any different? This is going to be extremely uncomfortable. This is going to be weird. And so I was like, I'm done. So I saw them, watched their set. I stood, geez, why am I stuttering? I stood on the side of the stage, and just absolutely enjoyed a Bouncing Souls concert like I have enjoyed multiple times before, except this time I got to be closer and actually on stage, side stage for it. But yeah. And so then that ended last night.
Were they on the same stage then?
No, they were main stage.
Oh, wow. You got to go up there?
Yeah, we had like the artists, we had the all access, pass things for the weekend.
Man, I thought I didn't know we could go up there. I didn't do that last year. I wanted to go up and hang out with the dudes in gosh dang it, what band was I trying to see? Oh man, I gotta wake up. It's the band that sings Mr. Coffee. I like coffee every day. What is that? What? Anyway.
I don't know. Yeah, but so this year, like, the wristbands were like yellow, and if you had a yellow artist band, you could go anywhere. It was just all access.
So did you see Leonore and Micah?
Did not see Micah. Micah came in, did sound, and left, from what I gather.
Oh,
from
like
what
he
I
was
heard.
running sound?
Yeah, he ran sound. So this is the story. This could be completely wrong. I don't know if Micah listens to this. This could be completely wrong. The story that I was told was that he agreed to do sound for a band, and then also the band Extol was going to be playing. And so Micah agreed to do sound, and then he was like, cool, I can do sound, and then I can see Extol. But then Extol, their visas didn't come through.
Oh, geez.
So like 24 hours before the festival started, like Extol was like, we can't come.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I know that bummed a lot of people out. And I think Micah being one of them. So he came in, he did sound, and he left. So it was literally that quick. So like a band or a couple of bands, he did sound for him, and then he was gone.
Huh.
I saw Leonore. She was toasty. She was in a very, very good mood on what would have been Friday night.
Uh-huh.
So I introduce. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, the homework? What is the title of the book? What book?
I don't know.
Well, what is it about? Is it what book you're going to read? Hey, can you wait a little bit so Joe and I can do our podcast, and then I'll talk to you about this? Give me 5 minutes. Okay.
So Leonore on Friday night, Leonore was in quite a way. I think she was feeling the failure puddles.
We call that about to make the queso when we're hanging out with Leonore, because she hits a point where she's like happy and then all of a sudden just blowing chunks, and it's real quick.
Well, she was.
Sorry, Leonore, for talking about the queso, but
she was in a way. So it was funny because she was up on stage, in like the side stage area to watch Reliant K and MXPX and all that stuff. And so she turns around and Heidi and I are there, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And she's like, hey, how are you? I was like, I want you to meet Heidi. And she's like, hey, how are you? Like chit chat with us. Well, then 2 days go by, and then she sees us on Sunday, and she's like, Joe, good to see you. And then I'm thinking in my head, like, I saw you on Friday night, dude. And then she's like, is this Heidi? I'm like, oh, she was so, let's just say in the moment on Friday, had no recollection of seeing either one of us or meeting Heidi, and then called Heidi Holly the whole time.
Oh, Lord.
And then goes, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. I'm calling you Holly, not Heidi. And then Heidi's like, yeah, it's Heidi. And then she's like, okay, Holly, blah, 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 blah. and right after she said that she's so embarrassed for calling her Holly and not Heidi, she went back to calling her Holly.
She probably was also a little bit enlightened at that moment.
Maybe she didn't seem it, but maybe.
Okay.
But it was cool. And with that being said, too, with Heidi, so many people were coming up and like they'd be like, Joe, I'm so and so, and then they'd be like, wait a second, is this the Heidi? And so like people were just as excited to meet Heidi as they were to see the Insiders play. So
that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, so that was kind of the experience. It was a lot of fun.
Bands. It sucked.
Yeah, except talking to the bands. Like I said, the for all of you out there listening, to give you the exact feeling that it felt like was seeing that like high school people that you were kind of friends with, but enough time has gone by and you haven't talked to them since high school and you see them. That was the feeling with a lot of people. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, hey, like if Five Iron and us, or Supertones and us were to see each other, hey guys, what's going on? Hey, what's up? Wife and kids, blah, 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 blah. But these guys, nothing. It was nothing. It was like, hey, what's up, Joe from the Insiders? How you guys doing? And like their eyes are going everywhere else. Like not like looking you in the face like, oh man, what's been going on for the last, 20 years? It's just like, all right, I don't want to be in this conversation. So I was just like, yikes.
Flick them in the penis. That's what you do in that situation. You just like, you walk up, hey buddy, and then you just whack it.
Yeah. We heard a good story about you from one of the promoters that last year he was like,
speaking of whacking it.
He goes, last year after Five Iron played, he goes, Reese was trashed. And he goes, Reese was so trashed. And he goes, he just kept hanging all over me, just thanking us so much for playing the festival and letting him play and all that stuff. And I was like, if Reese was trashed, it was probably the Fireball. And he was like, oh, it was something. He was like, he was in a lovey mood.
That's how I am. That's not trashed me. That's thankful me.
That's lovable
Joe.
You.
That's lovable me,
you.
Joe. I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry that I haven't shown people enough affection, but I will more so that you don't think I'm inebriated.
Yeah. That was our weekend. So freebie peeps, we're only doing half hours now, man. Because our lives are complicated. As you can hear, Reese is trying to help his daughters eat dinner and do homework.
Oh, crap. I have kids.
Yeah. And, same thing here is I'm still unpacking. But we wanted to be able to knock out a half hour, get you guys some stuff. And so, again, thanks for listening, you guys. This has been a little half hour seg of the Pickle and Boot Shop.
Piece of pizza.
There you go.
Bye. Joe.
Yeah.
Pickle and Boop Shop is a 501c3.